guys, I'm Gail,
And I'm Russell.
and welcome to another episode of our podcast.
Today I thought I'd touch on the topic of how in relationship we're always looking for our partner to make us happy and to please us. And when our partner's a certain way, one of the things I've been observing this week is when Gail's stressed, how I get stressed.
How that lands for you?
Yeah, and how that lands for me. So there's almost this, when we're in a relationship, we get connected. It's almost like this connection gets formed, which obviously we have this bond, which
It's
is
like a
marriage.
connection bond, right?
But more than that, we have this. I'm not quite facing you enough, but it's okay. More than that, we have this kind of underlying subconscious connection and desire and need for our partner to be happy.
Yeah, like when you get miserable and withdrawn, or when you do your thing, your versions of. I don't know what you would actually call it, because you'd have to articulate what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, it feels like withdrawal
I can sometimes get low or withdrawn or need my own space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and sharp.
And you sharp.
Yeah, you get sharp.
No.
I know you often say that about me, but I think
right.
you get sharp.
I don't think you have.
We get sharp back.
I never get sharp.
What are you talking
about? But I think what happens is we've got this kind of subconscious bond, this emotional bond, because what connects us together more than anything is this emotional connection.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when you're looking for a partner, there's millions of people that would look acceptable to you, would physically have the traits you need to be in a relationship with. There are also millions of people that you have lots of stuff in common with, that you get on with, that are okay to relate to.
Yeah.
And then there are millions of people that you just gel with, like it's...
Or that you don't.
And that you don't. But what I'm saying is there are so many people you could be in relationship with.
Yeah.
And this is why when we find people come to us and they're at this stage in their relationship where they've just pushed each other apart, we talk about this relationship stick of love.
When it's almost like when they started their relationship, if you think of two magnets, right? The magnets come together and bam, like they're like stuck, right? But if you flip them the other way, you can actually feel that repelled energy. And it's like at a certain point when there's been enough hurts or enough arguments or fights or disagreements or things haven't worked out, or big things have happened in your relationship, whatever that might be for you, it's like you get like almost the repelled side of the magnets versus that like total connected in feeling.
Yeah, and like everything kind of deepens the more as we talk about it more. The self-actualization part of that, when you talk about two magnets, they know that the magnet itself doesn't know, but we know if we turn it the right way, they attract.
Yeah, they stick.
And we know if we turn the same magnet, the same magnet the other way, it repels.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the same in a relationship. In a particular state and a particular day, in a particular way of behaving, we're going to attract to each other.
And I think, like Russell just alluded to, one of the four cornerstones that we haven't really touched on all that much is self-actualization, and that's actually doing the work yourself, which is knowing that magnetic force is happening underneath, but then not letting, say, like if Russell was low, or say if I'm, what did you say?
Well,
stressed.
You get a lot with everything going on with kids and everything.
Yeah.
What happened last night? We were out, right, and it was really hot.
Oh my God, I was overheating. It was crazy. Like
this is a typical
fine,
example.
And then all of a sudden, it was moisture in the air last night. I think there was rain coming, so the temperature. I just was overheating, and then I'm just like.
It gets too much. We're looking for something to eat, or we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's this kind of tone that you get. I mean, we call it an emotional state where
It's funny though, because I actually would have said it started with you before that, because you were looking for somewhere and you said you'd taken that you feel responsible to actually find something for us. And I think that's important to talk about as well, right? Because it's like, as you can hear, guys, something was going on for both of us, and the self-actualization is that there's naturally going to be a magnet where your partner's what they're going through is going to influence how you be, and vice versa. So who knows who went first? Russell went first or I went first.
This is so critical to the little nuances that happen in a relationship that you don't have awareness of. So breakthroughs happen. If you're going to have a breakthrough, a transformation. So to have a transformation, a shift, create a new possibility for yourself and your life and your relationship.
New show up.
Every new possibility starts with an awareness of where you're at and an awareness of what's going on.
Yeah.
And eventually that turns into an insight, and if you have the right coaching, that'll turn into a breakthrough, which will turn into a transformation, And from that transformation, you can create a new possibility.
Yeah.
And that's what we're always talking about in relationship, but it's happening. We talk about a relationship like a live, living organ, orgasm.
Organism? A live
It's a
orgasm.
live, living orgasm.
Organism.
Wouldn't relationships be great if they were
a live orgasm. All the time,
constantly,
24/7, 365, multiples
Oh,
all day,
oh,
every
I
day.
just had another one.
Okay, realization.
Was that good for you too?
But maybe that's the reality. Maybe it needs to be looked at as instead of an organism, a live organism is well, wouldn't you want those little bursts of excitement and euphoria and passion? And I think that is, I know you said it tongue in cheek, but the reality is you want to create a relationship where you're having continual bursts, yes, orgasms, but also continual bursts of euphoria and love and passion and excitement and joy and happiness and excited and all the things.
So in my world, and this is, we talk about this all the time, is that we all create our own version of the world, but it's not the version of the world. Otherwise, everyone's version would be the same.
Yeah.
So we all end up with our own version of the world that's based on our own upbringing, our own beliefs, our own stories, our own rules, our own opinions, the way we've experienced life. And so because my version of the world and Gail's version of the world is different, that's where we clash. So let's just take last night. For me, how my version of the world was occurring was all of a sudden she got hot and it was a bit much walking around, and then she started to get tense. And this is what I initially started talking about, is when she starts to get tense, I feel this kind of symbiotic connection to her that almost brings this tension up in me. But what she's saying for her, she thinks she noticed it earlier. And one of the things that she was getting tense about was, I was saying how we're looking for a restaurant. I always feel responsible for that. So she wants me to stay happy here.
And because I think when I was overheating, that was when we went down to the markets, which was after dinner. So for me, I'm the tension started before that. It was as we were looking for a restaurant and where we were going to eat last night. The tension for me was building. One, because it was hot. Two, because we didn't want to keep walking all over the place finding somewhere, because we thought we were going one place. It ended up not being the place, so then we ended up trying to find something else. Long story short, right? We did find somewhere, but for me, the tension started back then because, Russell communicated to me after that he feels responsible for having to find the place. And that just isn't that doesn't exist in my world the way it does for him.
So what that looks like is, as we're walking around, we're starting to get short and snappy with each other, right?
Yeah.
And we have at that stage, until we start unpacking it now, we didn't specifically have awareness that was going on. We know
consciously, you know when those moments are happening.
But we know that we have a stress inside us that causes the other person the stress.
When it's interesting as well, because as we're unpacking here, because I think it's really cool to kind of unpack it so you can see how you can actually unpack and work through stuff with your partner, is in my mind, last night we were going to go out. One, we were going to go out earlier, which didn't happen, so that kiboshed straight away. But two, I thought we were going to go out to eat. We were going to stop and get one thing, and then I thought we were coming back home. But then Russell wanted to go down to a bigger part of the markets. But in my mind, we weren't doing that last night. So for me, the moment that my plan, if you like, my premeditated plan that I hadn't communicated to Russell, by the way, but my premeditated plan of what the evening was going to be changed.
Yeah.
Which causes tension. Especially if you're especially because I was overheating. Not always does it cause tension, but for me specifically last night, I was after we finished eating, I'm thinking, cool, one or two more places, we might grab a drink, and then we'll take a taxi back home to where we're staying.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case, so then tension rises.
Yeah. And so,
just so you know, that's my premeditated version of last night.
So anyway, the bottom line is here that why is her stress causing me stress? Or why is my stress causing her stress? And in a relationship, this is happening all the time.
Yeah.
And this is why we put so much emphasis on our partner to be happy and to be having a great life. Because it's easier for me to say to her, stop stressing, and stop being such so tense about the heat, relax, than it is for me to look at myself and go, why am I having a reaction to that? And the real question for everyone listening to this is always, the only valid question is why am I having a reaction to that?
It's taking it back to the I, right? So it's the self-actualization. Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Not why is my partner doing what they're doing, causing me to feel the way I'm feeling, but why am I feeling what I'm feeling right now? So like, it's interesting. Can I ask you the question?
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be cool.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
well,
Yeah, sure.
seeing as we're unhappy.
Sure.
Why were you feeling what you were feeling last night? So if you take it back to I, why was I feeling what I was feeling last night?
So I think we're conditioned, is one of the things I was going to say, from a young age to do certain things based on our experience of our upbringing. We model things and we have this conditioning. One of the conditions that I have is that I feel that there's not enough love in the world if I can't fix everything and keep everyone happy. And that's been something.
That would suck.
Yeah,
Can you
it
imagine?
does suck.
Try and fix
I
everything.
don't have to imagine.
Make sure everybody else is happy. Like shit, you like people are happy all the time, right? Like.
So when Gail was feeling the stress last night, and I'll get back to your initial question, but this kind of follows on from it. But when Gail was feeling that last night, the first thing I did, and for men, this is a big no-no. First thing I teach men: do not fix. Women are not interested in being fixed. They don't want to feel broken. They don't want to feel like you don't accept them. They don't want to feel like you don't understand them. They don't want to feel like you don't love them, and that's what happens when you try to fix them. So I'll say that if I don't say it in every podcast, it's because I forget. First thing that men listening to this have to understand: do not try to fix. Your woman already knows the solution. She's hot. She's bothered. She's whatever's going on. She does not need me to work out for her. Let's go and sit in some air conditioning and have a drink, so you can calm down. Do you think she's an idiot? She knows she can sit in air conditioning. And
I didn't realize, but it's great. It really is cool to unpack stuff with you guys, because it's like, wow, it's kind of like gives you real live insight as to how it's happening in your world as well. Like, because you said to me, okay, well then let's just not go to the market. And immediately when he said that, the feeling inside my body is, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's not what I'm saying here, and what the fuck? So just to give you the actuals, that was what was going on inside my mind. So, right, like that's the thoughts and the thinking that goes in my mind. I'm like, because in that what he said, well, let's just not go. That totally has me feel not understood, not gotten, and like he has no idea what's actually going on.
And that's my immediate response, right?
That's the don't fix part, by the way. That's the thing. Don't say that.
Rather than go to the markets and have her not be fully happy, I'd rather not go to the markets. And so that completely then invalidates what Gail's doing for me. Yeah. And that we're going to the markets, and also the walk we've already done, which is part of the way there, right? So
I'm like, really?
So men, do not fix. She doesn't need me to tell her what to do or how to mend it. What she actually needs in that situation is for me to ask how she feels and take an interest.
Like, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? You can ask that question too. Is there anything I can do to help?
Right? And to give her some presence and let her know with the certainty from the masculine state that I'm there for her, and that first of all, I won't go to the markets if she doesn't need me to, because that is a valid thing.
Yeah, because you wanted to go last night.
Yeah.
Right?
So don't put that in front of the relationship and say, look, I'm going because I want to.
No.
It's not about that. It's about just being present and being there for Gail in this case and asking the question. But I immediately, from this preconditioning that I have from childhood, and all men have this, by the way, because in a relationship, men are hardwired to keep you women happy. And I know you're laughing, ladies, now, and falling off your chair and in hysterics and going, I must have the only fucking man that isn't interested in that.
It is true. Like, we've asked this question of hundreds of thousands of people in every seminar room, anytime we're working with people, and that is the reality of what's going on.
They all put their hand up. They just want you to be happy.
And the only time a man actually checks out of a relationship, either emotionally or physically, or actually leaves, is when he thinks he can't. When he thinks he actually can't work out how to make you happy.
That's why one of the biggest places your men shut down is when you criticize, or when you complain, or when you nag, or even when you just ask them to do something that they're not doing, or when you highlight that they're not doing something. Because the minute you do that, what they feel is they feel that they've done something wrong, or that there's something wrong with them, and that you're not happy with them. And so what they'll do is they'll check out and withdraw rather than do the thing. So for example, if Gail says to me, can you do the dishes? You haven't done them for 3 days. And I go, wow, I can, but then I'd rather not because you're pissed off with me or upset with me. So we just don't do that. So I mean, it's another chapter really, but how to talk to people and how to influence them and enroll them in getting what you want. It's not through criticisms, complaints, and nagging, if you like, is what they call it. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about the. So I'm walking along and she's feeling that. So in that moment, it's not a conscious feeling of not being good enough, not being liked, not being loved, letting someone down, upsetting someone. But if I look back to my childhood and I model back what I modeled back then, that was how I was. That was how I was. I was a people pleaser, always wanting to keep people happy. So when you're not happy, that really kind of causes a problem for me. And my first initial go-to when that's happening is to give up what I want. And then obviously not just give it up, like giving it up what I want wouldn't be a big problem, but that's not how you guys give up what you want. It's not how I give up what I want. I give up what I want the same as all of you do, and that's giving it up and then blaming her for it and being resentful, pissed off and angry, which is what you all do. You all go,
put something in the middle of the relationship, just so you know.
Yeah, so in this case, you know, I was going to try to fix it, make it right, but that was what was going on for me. I want you to be happy. I'd rather you be happy than be doing what I felt I would want it to do, but it just instantly causes me this stress.
And here, watch this. This wasn't the conversation that we had last night, but it's really kind of cool to do it now. No way, babe. Like, I can't even imagine what that must be like, giving up the things that you want because you think that's what I want. That's not what I want at all. I actually was happy to go to the markets. I just needed to communicate that I was overheating. And I hope that you don't feel not loved. I want you to feel loved in every moment.
It's like another blowjob to the heart moment. You know? They keep coming all the time, but this is all you really want in a relationship. As soon as she talks to me like that, it feels like I'm like 5 years old and being like taken care of and loved, and it's like, oh wow, that's lovely. She really knows me and understands me. Yeah, it's like I mean, a little bit pathetic, a little bit weak on my side, but we all need that. All men need that. All women definitely need that.
Well, and I think if you get that at some level, people, human beings, not men, not women, but human beings, we want to get gotten. And when somebody gets us, like, I get that. I'm like, oh my God, I can't imagine like that all was going on. Like, and if you don't have conversations like we're having right now, like that moment gets missed. And it becomes like it seems small, right? It is a very small thing. But imagine if all those small things happening periodically throughout your relationship, your day, your week, your month, your year, those add up. So if you aren't talking about them and actually like, you know, having these kinds of conversations, you're missing out on like, one, Russell getting gotten, two, me being able to share how I felt in that moment. So then me getting gotten, right? Because there's a cross-pollination that's happening there all the time, right? It's like, okay, well, one person gets gotten and the other person feels heard, rather than both people feeling like, Russell feeling unloved, me feeling like, what was I feeling last night?
While you're walking?
Yeah.
I don't know, think about it. I'll talk for a minute.
Yeah, that's right. I'll think about that.
So,
think about it.
You know, what is this compulsion we have for our partner?
Out of control. Sorry, I have to. Like, control is a big thing for me, which is interesting, right? Because remember earlier in the day, I said to Russell, I was out, I went and had a massage, and I'm all about like, how much crap can I leave on the massage table? Like
emotional crap.
How much emotional crap can I let go of in every time I have any type of like massage or healing process? And I'm like, I said to him, I came home and I said, wow, on the left side of my body, I was releasing a whole lot of criticism, and on the left side of my body,
right side of my body.
Oh, sorry, the right side. Yeah, because the left side was all about criticism, and the left.
The right side, the other side.
Oh, sorry, the right side.
I keep saying left is right.
I keep saying left
not
and left. Left and left. The right, and I'm pointing to my right side. That's
She's got two left sides.
The right side of my body was all like, felt like I was letting go of control.
Yeah.
And so obviously in that interaction last night, I'd felt that shift take place in my massage. And then what happens naturally is when we've had a shift, sometimes what happens is you get another opportunity, you then pull back. You go like, whoa, pull back and then pull back in the reins, trying to regain control.
And so, you know, obviously that one of the gold nuggets in your relationship is men and women. More so men need to do this, but every single human being's feelings are valid.
And
No matter what those feelings are, every single human being's feelings are valid, and no human being's feelings have anything to do with you. So you can listen to their feelings without taking it personally or feeling criticized in any way. Now, obviously that's easier said than done, but just to get that as a concept, if in your relationship you can do what we're doing in this podcast, when Gail sort of asked me, she says, oh, no way, baby, I can't imagine you felt like that.
Yeah.
That's always for a woman what a man needs to ask her. But instead of fixing, what I needed to ask her last night is just say, no way, babe, that must be terrible. You know, is there anything I can do? Anything you want to tell me about it? Anything you want to share? Anything we need to change? She just needs me to ask her questions rather than go straight to, well, we won't go to the markets if that's how you feel.
Yeah. Because even you can hear in his tone, it's like, right? Like that's like you guys know those interactions and those niggly bits that you have going on in your relationship or other like relationships, your intimate relationship or other relationships as well. So. And
then the next part of it is to really start to take on for yourself, like, why does it cause me so much stress?
Yeah, why does it?
Why am I so unhappy about it? And I think so there's the modelling and the conditioning from when we're a child. That's part of it, and the triggering back.
If you go back, because your tension began earlier in the evening, and you'll have to tell me if it began before this, but when we didn't find a place initially, there was already tension for you then.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting into this area of responsibility.
Yeah.
So now we start to look at, you know, in Wisdom Warriors, we talk about these different personalities. And you see, the thing is with different personalities is you don't understand it's your personality. You think it's you.
Yeah, so you have them all like intertwined, like your personality and you don't get those two things as like they are two parts of you working together.
So you think you are responsible, and you think that was something that you one day woke up and thought, oh, this is a nice thing to take on, I'm going to become the responsible one.
Yeah.
But that's not how it is for certain people. People that are a similar personality to me have a big need and desire to be responsible. And they take on too much responsibility for other people.
Yeah.
There are many other traits, of course, that are connected to other personalities.
And I think as well, because you said earlier, like you take on being responsible for like my happiness, for example.
Yeah.
And like that's like a losing battle. Like if you think that you can be responsible for somebody else's happiness, that's just not. Like,
so in a relationship, you are not responsible for your partner's happiness.
No.
So take that weight off of your shoulders immediately. Don't do things deliberately to upset them or make them unhappy, or use that as a scapegoat and just say, well, it's nothing to do with me if you're unhappy. Yes, we can do stuff about it.
Yeah, and you can create a happy and loving environment, right? But at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna leave my day in, day out happiness in Russell's hands because he's gonna mess it up every single time, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like if he left his happiness in my hands and like dictated his happiness based on how I show up each day, like he's got Buckley's chance of actually like enjoying and living a life that he loves.
Yeah. So you can take that out of the space for yourself.
Yeah.
And then the question to ask is, you know, what we're asking right now is, why am I feeling a certain way when my partner behaves or feels a certain way that I don't necessarily want them to feel or necessarily like? I mean, if you can just get that one pain out of your relationship. See, we become the effect, either consciously or subconsciously, of our partner's behavior until we make the distinction that we don't have to be. And this is why I say, sorry, can I?
But yeah, go ahead.
This is why I say your relationship is not actually a relationship, it's an entanglement. You're entangled in something. So when I talk to anyone about their relationship, I'm not actually talking about a relationship. I'm talking about the entanglement that they're in a need to feel loved, get appreciation, get taken care of, be understood.
Yeah.
It's like a replication of what you really wanted when you were a child from your parents that you didn't get. And then of course your partner can't do that for you because they're actually not in it for you. I mean, she loves me to bits, but she's not in it for my happiness. She's actually ultimately in it for her happiness.
Yeah, and every person is in it for themselves, really.
If I didn't make her happy, she wouldn't be in the relationship. And so we're always looking to the partner for that, when really we need to look inside and ask ourselves, okay, well what is that about for me? So, you know, so many times, you know, the couples come to us and they want the other person to change. And so much of our early work with people is done in getting them to take responsibility for their own feelings.
Yeah, and
right?
reflecting into self, like what is going on for you then? Like what was going on for you when we were walking down the street and you got agitated?
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about. It's the responsibility,
Yeah.
right?
So like then you felt responsible for finding the place to eat.
Yeah, and then later on, I felt responsible for the fact that you were feeling tired
Yeah.
because we were going to the market. So my whole responsibility, what do you call it? The trait that is on automatic in me, being responsible for not causing anybody else any harm, if you like, which is not a bad thing in itself.
No.
I'm not saying we change all things,
But-
I'm just saying subconsciously. Yeah, go on.
But what would happen, and this is, you know, we're just live and workshop it now, what would happen if instead of just the responsibility for everyone else, like me, the girls for example, if you shifted the responsibility and went, how do I be responsible for how I'm feeling right now? If you shifted it inwards, what would happen? Do you know?
Well, I think it would shift my tension, because one of the things we talk about with emotional mastery and making sure you're in the right state.
Yeah.
Obviously, the state I'm talking about here, the mood, if you like, the state I'm in here is like getting like stressed or anxious
Yeah.
over causing some sort of pain for somebody or difficulty for someone. So if I start to take responsibility for myself, what causes your emotional state is not your circumstances. It's not how you view. It's not what's happening outside. So, for example, we're walking, and then Gal communicates with me that she's feeling hot and tired, and I don't know what else she said about it, but enough for me to get the message. It was a bit difficult for you, right?
Yeah.
So immediately, what I focus on is that she's not happy,
Yeah.
or that I've done something wrong, or that I'm causing her pain. Once I focus on that, my emotional state changes.
Yeah.
And my emotional state becomes stressed, anxious. I start to run a pattern of trying to fix or make it better, or whatever that might be. So now what she's saying is, well, let's move your focus. And to change your emotional state, the first thing you need to do is what gives your emotional state is what you focus on. So if you're going to change your emotional state, you have to first change your focus.
Yeah.
So the first thing that Gal's invited me to look at here is move my focus off of her on what I'm not doing right, or what I'm not doing well, or what I'm causing.
Or that,
and-
or that you need to be responsible for finding the restaurant, because that was
Or
the earliest
keeping people
tension,
happy,
right? Or
yeah.
keeping people happy, or whatever it was.
Yeah, and what she's invited me to look at is bring the experience inside, and ask yourself, well, what would happen if you became responsible for? Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, like if you shift the responsibility to you, and like, how do I be responsible for how I'm feeling right now? Like I'm feeling the tension rising, I guess, if I was articulating like what it was.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the tension rising. What do I need to do for me right now?
Yeah. So from there, you know, just as an example, I can straight away see that obviously the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, I need to relax.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, and we always say be the change that you want to see in others.
Yeah.
So the first thing I need to do is I need to relax and be calm. The second thing I can see I need to do there is stop being a victim of the circumstances that are happening outside of me,
Yeah.
and start to take some ownership and become accountable, which is the masculine state, become certain,
Yeah.
and be okay with however it's going. And maybe bring some consideration into that and check that everybody's okay,
Yeah.
and stop making up in my own mind that everybody's not.
Yeah. Or that everybody's relying on you.
Oh yeah, that everyone's, yeah. And
Because even I'm just, if he'd asked that question, like, are you relying on me to make the decision? The short answer would have been no.
yeah,
Like it would have been like, we're just checking out a couple of places on our journey back this way, and seeing where we can actually, which eventually we actually found something. Actually, the girls found something, which they were super excited about.
Yeah.
But if he'd asked that question, that would have shifted it all and changed it in an instant, right?
Even Gail just asking the question she's asking, what would happen if you started being responsible for you first? Now, what it does is it brings me back to being present.
Yeah.
Brings me back to being there for my family.
Yeah.
And for myself, and checking that everything's working how it's supposed to be working. And I can feel the shift in just that one question. So sometimes we don't even need to answer the question of what would change if you became responsible.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just turning and the reflector, if you like, back onto self, which is, again, the cornerstone we've been talking about is self-actualization. How can I take care of me? How can I, take ownership, be accountable, and be responsible for who I'm being moment by moment. So when you're being awesome, you're responsible for that, and when you're being crap, you're responsible for that too, right? Like every person, me included, right? It's like, and then either way, reflecting back and taking it back to self.
And we call that reframing.
Yeah.
It's when you reframe the situation. It's like, if you imagine you've got like everything that's happening in your life. Right now, Gail's happening in my life inside of a framework, and I'm creating the framework. So obviously right now, in this instance, it's a loving framework. Because we're doing this together, we love doing it, we're making a difference, it's what we live for, it's passion.
We heal, like we both heal, we connect, we chat, all the things.
Spend some time, all the good things that you need in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's the frame that it's in. And so that all flows and works well, but not often there can be a different frame. So last night the frame that I was working in was tension and stress and trying to keep everyone happy, trying to be responsible for everyone, feeling bad, feeling that I'd let people down, feeling that I wasn't doing a good job. That's the frame that I had that in.
Yeah.
So just while I'm looking at life from that frame, everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Nothing works. Everything just goes wrong. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse because you're stuck in a framework and you're living inside of a framework, and it's the framework that's faulty. So even going back to the frame we talked about a little bit the other day, I think, and I've been doing some podcasts and TikToks on, even going back to that was, even going back to that the other day was, I was just going to sort something out in the background there. Even going back to that the other day, we were talking about how I was creating a framework for adventure, and the adventure that I was creating was changing the way I was viewing the world and viewing things. So let's just take that framework that we're talking about from last night, and we can say how I was going back to, if I took, we look at this adventure we're on, and now we're going on this walk and it's late and we're trying to find something. It wasn't that late actually, but what did I mean to say? It was hot. And we were trying to find something, and the girls were with me, and it was a bit far, we'd walked. So even when I go back to that framework and I change it to a framework of adventure, that's going to completely change the way that it's going to look for me. And so if you can change the way a frame works for you, then what you can do, sorry, there's a lot of noise going on in the background in a minute, Gareth's just trying to sort it out a little bit. So if you go back to changing the framework for yourself, then it totally changes how everything looks for you. So like last night, for example, if I could have seen this as the adventure, that would have changed how everything looked. And that would have made a massive difference to how the evening was occurring and how it was looking for me. Yeah. And that could have then made a difference to how it was occurring and looking for Gail. So there's lots of stuff that we're talking about here that's getting tied into the self-actualization part. But one of the things that we get stuck on, when we view our partner in a certain frame, or we view ourselves in a certain frame, then we end up causing a problem in the relationship that isn't really there.
Yeah.
And by changing your own framework, what can we do to break this cycle of needing our partner to behave a certain way in order for us to be able to connect in a better way? And one of the things is to change the frame of how you view it. So I didn't even know that I was doing something that wasn't, I didn't even ask if I was doing something that's causing her a problem.
Yeah.
I could have waited and asked and then changed the framework, changed it to one of adventure.
Yep.
It would have been more fun. It would have been lighter for everyone. I could have tried to cheer Gail up even. I'm not with trying to fix, but just, you know.
Who knows what would have been possible?
Yeah, who
right?
knows what would have
So
been
many
possible.
things become possible when you change the frame, right? And I think that's the point, is how can you take it back to self and then create a new frame so that you can redesign. And it's no different than, like, imagine you have a frame right now that has like all the things that Russell was talking about, and you just literally take a whiteboard brush and you clear the whiteboard, and all of a sudden you have a blank canvas to recreate from. That's what it is to reframe. It's like you're wiping the slate and you're creating a whole new place to design it from. Yeah.
So, you know, to really understand this we take it for granted and naturally that the way she is going to affect me. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be like that, does it?
No. Okay, so let's just recap what we've been talking about today. So we've talked about how, you know, your partner, how they show up and what they're feeling influences how you show up, and how to then separate that so that you can actually just be like your self-actualization is learning how to just be you, even when your partner's so that you're not feeling the effect and being part of the cause.
Because if you think about it, you know, you're not happy all the time.
No.
You go through mood swings. You go up and down during
Every
the day.
person does.
There's so many things going on in your day that will change how you feel, not just your partner.
Yeah.
And so what we have to, it's not reasonable to expect your partner to be happy every day,
All day, every day.
all day, every day, or happy with you all the time.
No.
It's the same as any other thing in life, but for some reason we've got this massive
Weight, responsibility that, like, our
Yeah.
partner, like how they show up and who they be all the time is awesome. And that's just not feasible for any human being.
Yeah.
Instead of actually just allowing yourself to flow with, you know, how your partner's feeling or what might be going on for them. And then, you know, having any conversations that you might need to around, you know, where are you at? What are you feeling? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Can I support you? Instead of, like, you know, when you feel the effect, you become part of the cause, right? So it's like we get enrolled in how our partner's feeling, and we take it on as like, we either go down with them or we butt heads with them. And instead it's learning to go like, how am I feeling right now?
So you know, my mission for myself is to be able to separate myself from Gail's negative, what I consider her negative feelings, her negative experiences, and just be there to support her. I don't want her to have to change them. I mean, I want to walk through life with her,
Yeah.
her knowing that she's here to experience life in any way she feels
Yeah.
is appropriate for her.
And that he's there to support me. I think that's more the point, right? So, like, so that he's not at the feeling
Mercy
at the
of.
mercy of how I show up, right? Instead, he's going like, oh, how can I support her? How can I love her? How can I help her if she needs that right now? How can I be there for her so that she can move through what she's moving through, and vice versa? Like, how do I not, you know, when Russell's dealing with whatever he might be dealing with on his end, is like how to not get into that with him.
And most of you don't even have that as a possibility.
No.
I mean, I was talking to a couple the other day, and they were telling me that they'd worked with me previously, and they were saying how they were happy right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, one of the worst things that stops people's happiness is the pretense of being happy.
Yeah.
Which some personalities do.
Or that there's no other place to go.
Yeah,
I mean,
just-
it's fascinating as well. Like, I mean, when people are like, oh yeah, when you ask like, oh, so what do you want to work on this month? And they'll be like, oh, there's nothing, we're all good. Or like, I'm all good. Whether it's
How can
relationship
that
or all
even
good.
be?
There's so many things happening all the time. And it's like you want to be continually growing and learning and unpacking. And it's fascinating more than anything when people
So, you
have
know,
that,
people
that
say they're
frame.
happy.
It's a frame.
Yeah, it's a frame.
It's a frame
It
of,
is.
yeah, we're all good, we're happy.
And what they're doing is they're basing it on their experience of their past,
Yeah.
their experience of what they
Of
think
the not
they,
happy times.
they can have,
Yeah.
their experience of what they saw as a child,
Yeah.
and their experience that they think they know what's going on in other people's relationships.
Yeah.
So
or what's possible when you get to a place of sacred love, where you transcend, you know, what's going on in your day-to-day life, and you live a possibility-driven life, or you live a relationship that lights you up, or you love going through the hard times. Not like love it as in you wish like all the time is always challenging and hard and overcoming, but you know who you will become together as a relationship or individually on the other side of it.
See, we're very happy. I
Yeah.
would say we're not just happy, we're very happy. But you know, we got such a big gap because we want to go to amazing, sensational, soulmates, sacred love,
Yeah.
connected, whatever.
And you're
as one.
continually moving through all these things. It's not a fixed, it's not like you get to sacred love and we've reached the destination. You're moving along all these scales inside of your relationship all the time. And I think that that's an important thing to know, is that like you are, it's not a fixed position that you get to. So like the fixed position or the frame, like we're happy, that's a fixed place. If you're stuck in that one place, there's no space to move or grow, either up or down. And you know that that's going to happen whether you invite it to or not.
So the couple I was talking to the other day, just going back to that, to create the possibility for you, is to see that, you know, when they first came to us, the husband was not behaving in a way that the wife wanted him to behave. And his actions were continuously triggering her unlovable and unloved wound and not good enough wound.
Yeah, you know what that's like.
I know exactly what it's
Ross has an unlovable wound. That's why I'm like, oh, you know what that's like.
And so, you know, with some coaching and some work from us, we managed to get it to a place, and they managed to get it to a place where the husband was not doing the behaviours
Yeah.
that were triggering those wounds anymore.
Yeah.
So now going from where they were to where they are now,
awesome.
She's not getting the unlovable, the not good enough, and the inadequate wound triggered anymore every day because her husband's changed. So now, of course, that does feel like they're happy.
Yeah.
But has that healed her unlovable wound, her inadequate wound, and her not good enough wound? Of course it hasn't.
And
Has
then-
it healed the reason he was behaving that way? Of course it hasn't. He's just stopped the behaviour. So at some point, generally what happens with patterns of behaviour is
They creep back in.
they'll creep back in,
Yeah.
and they'll start again. And there'll be the rift will get caused. And that's why we always say, you know, happy's okay, but it's way down the ladder of where you
It's
want to
just
be.
one of many things that you can be flowing through inside your relationship.
Yeah, and I'm happy for them that they're happy now.
Yeah,
Don't
of
get me
course,
wrong.
of course.
But it's just that there's so many other places to go to. So this is for most couples, the possibility does not even exist that you can be happy, content, fulfilled, and alive and connected unless your partner's behaving a particular way,
Yeah.
which is actually the preconditioning and the grounds that you got together on, to be honest with you. You went, this lady, this man makes me feel good,
Yeah.
I'm going to be there, and then this is what divorce is all about. Because they're making me feel bad now, I'm going to divorce them. All you're doing is you're moving yourself away from the immediate source of pain. You're not fixing, healing the pain. What's possible in relationships, and what we're talking about, is how to, you know, this conditioning that how she feels affects me is the conditioning that we've been taught as we grow up.
Yeah.
And we need to break that in order to be able to work inside. All problems come from inner, not outer.
Yeah.
And if we can work inside, and we can actually come from this great place, a source of power and love and strength and greatness, which is inside each and every one of you.
Yeah.
If we can do that, then you can have this relationship that will transcend anything that most people think is possible right now.
Yep.
And I hear it continually from people, you know, if she does this, then I won't accept that. This is my boundary. If she does this, well, what we're asking and saying is, you know, like last night, this incident that happened, well, why weren't you feeling stressed? Why did you behave like
What
that?
was
What
going on
was
for
going
you?
on for you?
Right, to understand, to have compassion, to know that each of you is going to get triggered, each of you is going to have tension, each of you is going to have moments. That's inevitable. Like thinking that that's not going to happen and living in a frame that like, well, we're happy those things aren't going to happen, that's a delusion.
Yeah, it is a delusion.
It's a
You're
delusion.
deluding yourself. and so, you know, now what's going to happen, because we've talked about it on camera today and we've explored and investigated, now what's going to happen is we're going to get to this, next time we go out, we won't, I will view this differently. I will look at it a different way.
There'll be a new frame for how we actually connect and how we go
Yeah,
out, for
and this
example.
is what the power of unpacking things and bringing awareness and insight to these things and being present to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's leave it there.
Yeah, let's leave it there for today, and
We'll see
thanks
you
for
again next
joining
time.
us, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Bye bye.